So, you know Macy's, right? One of the biggest, most iconic names in American retail. Well, they are right in the middle of this massive shakeup, trying to adapt to a world that's all about online shopping and fast fashion. Today, we're going to break down their latest big move and what it actually means for shoppers like you and me.
All right, let's just cut to the chase, shall we? This is the big question that's probably on your mind if you've been following the news. Is my local Macy's on the chopping block?
14. That's the number. In early 2026, Macy's is shutting down another 14 stores across the US. But, and this is really the key part, this isn't just some random round of cost cutting. Nope. It's actually the next calculated step in a much, much bigger plan to totally reshape the entire company.
Okay, so where exactly are these closures happening? Let's get right into the specifics.
As you can see, these closures are all over the map. We're talking from California all the way over to New Hampshire on the East Coast. And it's not just those giant traditional mall stores you might be picturing. The list covers different kinds of locations, from smaller format stores to clearance centers, which really shows these cuts are happening across the board. And you really got to pay attention to the timing here. These closures are set for early 2026. That tells you this isn't some sudden, panicked reaction to a bad sales quarter. This is strategic. It's a calculated move that fits right into that bigger, multi-year strategy we were just talking about.
So what is this master plan? Well, Macy's has a pretty dramatic name for it, actually. They're calling it the Bold New Chapter.
So they announced this plan back in 2024, and it was basically their answer to a huge problem. They had way too many stores that just weren't performing, underproductive, as they call them, and these locations were just draining resources. The solution? Well, it's pretty straightforward. Cut the dead weight and plow all that money and energy back into the stores that are actually winning. Yeah, this timeline really lays it all out, doesn't it? The strategy gets announced 2 years ago, then boom, an initial round of 66 closures. So this latest news about the 14 stores, it's just the next piece of the puzzle. The big, audacious goal is to shut down 150 locations in total by the end of 2026. And the CEO, Tony Spring, he's not mincing words. He's basically saying, look, closing a store is tough, but we have to do it. He's framing this not as a retreat, but as a smart business move to double down on the stores where customers are already showing up and spending money. So when you boil it all down, it's really this two-pronged attack. It's a classic case of addition by subtraction. Part 1, downsize by closing those underperforming stores. Part 2, invest. You take all the savings from Part 1 and you pour it right back into upgrading the 350 locations that they're keeping for the long haul. But of course, a corporate strategy on a PowerPoint slide is one thing. The real-world impact on communities and on actual customers, that's a whole other story. So how are people reacting to the news that their Macy's is about to be gone for good? Well, for loyal shoppers like Nato Nance in Pennsylvania, this isn't just an inconvenience. It's the loss of her go-to shopping spot. She talks about that in-person experience and how frustrating it's going to be to travel so much farther now, especially since, as she says, she's young, old-fashioned, and just doesn't do online shopping. And then you have people like Tisha Fior, who are pointing to the unique products they're going to miss. For her, it's about the makeup selection, the kind of quality stuff you just can't find at off-price retailers. She feels Macy's just has more up-to-date products. So for her, it's the loss of a specific and, frankly, better retail experience. Okay, so we've heard from the shoppers, but let's flip the coin and look at the other side of this. Let's talk about the future, because while the store closures are what grab all the headlines, it's the investment part of the plan where Macy's is placing its really big bet. And this right here, this chart, is the why. This data is everything. So look at this. While the company's overall net sales were actually down, it is a completely different story for the stores they're investing in. Those go-forward stores, they saw sales growth. And the ones they've already totally revamped, even better growth. This one chart is basically the proof of concept for their entire strategy. It's telling them this is working. And it's not just numbers on a page. This data is being backed up by what analysts are actually seeing when they walk into these stores. They're reporting real, tangible progress. Major improvements in everything from product displays to customer service. They're pointing to flagship locations like the one on State Street in Chicago as a prime example of this strategy in action. So all of this leaves us with the big final question, doesn't it? The strategy is clear: shrink to grow. The early signs from the revamped stores look pretty good, but in the end, it all comes down to execution. Can the positive changes in those 350 stores create enough momentum to overcome the closures and redefine what Macy's means to a whole new generation of shoppers? That is the billion-dollar question at the very heart of this bold new chapter.